To continue the reflections on the commandments, we shall take today the second commandment. It says, "You shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain." Unfortunately, many people do not understand this commandment clearly. It is formulated in the negative form, "You shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain." Positively put, the second commandment demands great respect for the name of the Lord because it is holy. Man must not introduce God's name into his ordinary speech except to bless, to praise, and to glorify his name. The second commandment forbids every improper use of God's name. Blasphemy, swearing, taking oaths, perjury, etc. are directly contrary to the name of the Lord and the respect due to God. Blasphemy is directly opposed to the second commandment. It consists of speaking of God without respect. It consists of speaking against God using words of hatred, reproach, or defiance. It consists of misusing God's name. It consists of speaking against God, in short. God's name is holy, and therefore it demands respect from everyone. Blasphemy is directly opposed to God as an offensive way of speaking against God. Blasphemy extends the language also to the church, the saints, and sacred things. In the Sermon on the Mount, in the Gospel of Matthew, Jesus explains the second commandment. He says, "You have heard that it was said to the men of old, 'You shall not swear falsely, but you shall perform what you have sown to the Lord.' But I say to you, do not swear at all." Jesus does not allow a substitute less sacred for the divine name. For example, heaven, earth, Jerusalem, or one's own head. Jesus seems to say that there is nothing in creation, there is nothing in the created world that is not related to God, that is not revealing God's name and His dignity. An oath is an attempt to control God in some way by calling Him as a witness, supporting one's statement by appealing to divine or human power was a practice of Judaism at that time. It brings in the doubt about one's commitment to truth and fidelity to the promises made. Jesus also forbids swearing and taking oaths absolutely. He forbids them absolutely. Swearing or taking an oath involves God, and it calls for God to be witness, to be a witness to what is wrong, to be a witness to a lie. And therefore it is seriously offensive to God's name, and therefore Jesus absolutely forbids the use of swearing or taking oaths. Similarly, perjury. Perjury is one makes a promise with the express intention of not fulfilling the promise, and therefore it is again against God, who is faithful to all his promises, who is the Lord of speech, who is faithful to his promises. The name of the Lord is holy, and the second commandment forbids every improper use of God's name. Blasphemy is the use of the name of God in an offensive manner. It is also claiming to have the power of God. False oaths and swearing falsely calls on God to witness to a lie. It is really offensive to God. It is really disrespectful to God's name. Similarly, perjury is a grave offense against the Lord, who is always faithful to his promises.